So I will just share my screen because I have a few slides prepared. Very, very simple, very few slides, just about 12 slides. And we'll get started talking about the Kleiner Perkins fellowship, specifically the product fellowship. So let me know, Jenna, if you can see my screen. Cool. Let me just quickly change the size of the, okay, cool. So Kleiner Perkins fellows. Let me show you the table of contents for today. We have the overview, the paths to the offer, and 100K seed funding that fellows get, and the perks besides the seed. So when I say paths to the offer, by the way, by that I mean there's not just one path, there's two paths. Most people don't know about this. I actually found out about this when I was on the second path to the offer. It's very interesting, and I wish someone had kind of given me the rundown and told me about it like beforehand. So that's why I'm just here to help out, and I'm happy to answer any questions, but like more towards the end, because there's like not too much content to get through. It'll be easy for me to just answer everyone's questions at the end if you could hold on to them. So we'll get started with an overview. So here are actually some of the most popular companies at the fellowship that essentially have fellows every year. And I mentioned these names because these typically have, like, these portfolio companies typically have the most fellows in the Kleiner Perkins fellowship. And you'll see the numbers later, like right after this. Or those are the events actually, but the numbers basically, I'll just tell you them now, are about 50 engineering fellows, 15 design fellows, and around 10 product fellows every single year, right? And it differs from year to year, but that's roughly like the count. And out of those, typically it changes from year to year depending on which startup is like the most hyper growth or has like the best like valuation that's like growing, or just many different like metrics that constitute a company doing very, very well. Those companies actually have the most fellows. So Airbnb had a lot of fellows like last couple of years, right? Slack has also had a lot of fellows the last couple of years. And a few years back, a little bit before Airbnb and Slack, Stripe had a lot of fellows. Robinhood has also had a lot of fellows, like I think a little over 2 years ago. Figma, as of recent, a lot of fellows. And I'm happy to say that the place I'm at, Ripcord, has had the most fellows this year. Ripcord is growing really quickly, and we had 7 fellows. So just to give you an idea, that's how diverse the fellowship is. Like, it's not like they have 20 or 30 out of 50 from like one company. It's very diverse. They try purposely making it diverse, but if a company is doing, I guess, really well, they'll accept like a few more. And it's not set in stone. It's very flexible. There's always exceptions too. I just want to put that out there. But these are some of the portfolio companies. These are the 6 that are, I'd say, arguably some of the most popular. Uber is not on here, but Uber is also like, equally as popular as these as well. So there are 20 plus portfolio companies. So I feel bad that I don't have all of them on here, but I feel like these would be of interest to many of you. So moving onwards, these are like the main events that Kleiner Perkins offers if you get into the fellowship. And one thing I want to mention is the engineering fellowship is just one summer, design fellowship is just one summer, but the product fellowship, lucky for all of you, is one whole year long. It has like quarterly events, and it's more of like a extended thing. I mean, and that's like in addition to like all of the benefits and perks we'll talk about. So this is the main type of event that they have that's like a really big pull, which is the CEO speaker series. The first CEO that we actually chatted with, and of course this was all supposed to be in person, but given the COVID situation, we had the same people that talked to us in person over a Zoom call, but we still may see them given that product fellows are still meeting in person, and our product fellows are still, their fellowship is like a year long. So we still have a sliver of hope, towards the end of the year of our fellowship, to maybe meet people in person and essentially have one of the alumni events or alumni product events. But I mean, like, away from that tangent, the CEO speaker series started off with the CEO of Figma, and then it went to the CEO of Modern Health. And then I think we had one more as well, but it was, pretty short this year because everything was remote. Otherwise, it's typically a CEO speaker series every 1, if not 2 weeks out of the 12-week summer, which is the standardized kind of like, internship length for undergrads, right? And I say undergrads because that's what they base it off of, because the majority of fellows are undergrads, but there have been MBAs, and specifically, or only in product actually. So that's why this is a really useful chat to be having with all of you here. So the CEO speaker series is CEOs specifically from their from startups, and obviously like their portfolio company startups. And the nice thing is these CEO speaker series are not just like a CEO speaker series from like a large kind of convention or a conference. I don't know if you've heard of Boxworks. I went to that recently. The CEOs there, they gave like a really formal presentation where they talked to like the audience that like they genuinely didn't know, and the people that they were like in conversation with that were, the moderator or the moderator for the fireside, they also didn't know them super well as well. The difference here is the CEO speaker series of, let's say, Dylan Field, who's the CEO of Figma, was in conversation with a partner at KP, right? It was with Mamoon Hamid. And it's always going to be in a partner with KP, specifically the partner that led the round for that portfolio company. So they already have a really strong relationship. They're already really close. And these CEOs, it's not like a normal CEO conversation. They're going to be talking about really personal, really like, really things that like comfortable things. And you're going to get the best insights because they're not really formal. They're not really withholding like too many facts back. They're not being confidential and annoying about anything, right? So we had
Hamza, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but there's somebody waiting to be let in. Do you see them in the participants tab?
Thank you for letting me know.
Is there anybody at the top of that list? That's what it looked like to me when I was the host.
1 second. For some reason my Zoom is, it's not even showing up. I can't see the tab.
That's okay. I'll just share the recording with her.
Oh, actually, here I can let Vidya in. I think it's Vidya Madam.
Yeah, that's who it is. Thanks.
Okay, gotcha. Cool. So back to the screen share. Here we are. So again, you can see everything now, right? Okay. So basically, continuing on the speaker series, I want to keep this short, but it's a really comfortable vibe. Dylan was so comfortable with Mamoon because they're just longtime friends. He led one of the rounds for Figma, that he was literally telling us very, very important info, such as like his predictions for 2021. And then he predicted that Figma would do really well. It's like everyone knows it's a real-time collaborative like design software, but the fact that like people pre-COVID were already using it like across different types parts of the world, he already had an insight onto like what remote work would kind of look like, and he predicted a lot of things that actually came true past few months. So I was just writing them down, and they were just like great company ideas. So it's stuff like that you kind of see in the speaker series because they're really comfortable and they'll literally answer any question that you ask them. KP partner sessions, it's the same thing as like the KP partner plus CEO. You just get rid of the CEO and the KP partner tells you about their story. A lot of really awesome stories. Like the background of one of them is like he wanted to be an astronaut. His parents didn't want that. And then he ended up just doing a bunch of stuff, and now he's at KP. I mean, don't want to go into too much detail, but really nice. Partners really nice. They're also really open to like email conversation and just you reaching out as a fellow. They'll pretty much like almost always respond. So there's that. All fellow events, which is engineering, design, and product, all 75 put together, and just events that are essentially like funded by KP. So an example of this, it's very different like when we're remote, but we still had pretty cool stuff. Like they sent us like really expensive boba kits where there was the boba, and there was like tea leaves, actually like 30 or 40 servings. You could just use this for a while afterwards, and like a really nice metal straw. And they just taught us how to like make boba. And I don't know if you could tell from the way I was describing it, but I didn't make it. It was just a little tough for me. So I just like watched them do it. And then there's also fellow cohort events, which is essentially just product, all like roughly 10 people together. And those 10 people do things that are a little more specific to product management. So just like listening to like product speakers, and also just doing fun activities, but only like with your cohort, which is really good for, I'd say, product and design, because you can literally get to know everyone when there's like a 10 and 15 person batch. Whereas for engineering, everyone kind of has like their small cliques because it's a 50-person group, much larger. So I think that's great because when you're close with your cohort, like you're close for years to come, and you can also like found a startup together and get that 100K seed. Very common for people within the same cohort as well. And then the fellow mini group events. This is something that I don't know if it's been here for all the years of KP, but they know there's so many fellows and they want you to meet people outside of like your own cohort. They force you to have like groups, or they have like these breakout sessions that they did on Zoom where it was like one from design, one from product, one from engineering. And then because there's more in engineering, you probably have like 2 engineering fellows. It's like a group of like 4 or 5 people, and KP funds you to just do things on your own. So they just give like each person like a set of money, or each mini group lead like a amount of money, and you can just like really like bond with them. A lot of people did escape the room. A lot of people virtually, right? It's not the same, but a lot of people did a lot of cool events. Basically, the whole point of all these events is everyone gets really close with each other. Everyone benefits a lot, like in terms of just like learning from the CEOs that are literally like on the rise in terms of the most hypergrowth startups in the industry. And you also learn about VC if you don't know much about VC from KP partners. You have access to everything. So those are some of the events. Talking about size, a lot of you are interested. So engineering fellowship, 50. And this is interns and new grads. They're taking new grads starting this year only. I think it's like a change based off of how things are remote. And I think they made like a decision on their end. And that's the same case for design too. Design as interns and new grads, about 15. I guess, again, these numbers are like variable from year to year. And then there's product, which is, relevant to like everyone here, where the count this year, by the way, is in my batch, it's 14. So it can like be plus or minus a few. And the nice thing about that is they're not strictly cutting you off at like 10. If someone is solid, if they really like someone, they'll make an exception. They'll just keep on adding people in a sense, right? But it generally stays around 10 people. And this is new grads only. This is not relevant to you guys because none of you are interns, but there are MBAs that are also a part of our batches. No one this year, but there have been many MBAs in the past, and they're also open to MBAs in the future too. So the product fellowship is usually, these are the main details about it. And again, one thing is it's 1 year long instead of 3 months. And I'd say that because of that, the product fellows are typically like very close with each other because there's a lot more time they spend together. And ideally, outside of COVID, all the events happen in NSF at KP's headquarters and also different places in NSF, whether it be bars or just like literally like ballrooms or just like different like, really nice venue locations where product fellows get really close with each other. And every quarter there's like a product fellow alumni event too, or just something like similar to that, where you just meet like a lot of the ex product fellows who are just doing really awesome stuff in the industry. So just a little bit of details there for the size. And I just want to talk about the fellows. The fellows are really, really awesome. So we were having intros, and one of the fellows, like everyone gave their intro, but one of them, like he was one of the first people actually. He said he performed at Coachella as a DJ, and as soon as he said that, everyone was messaging him and trying to get his number and trying to become friends with him. Another fellow, she actually was a host of a popular radio show channel, and or radio channel, and another fellow gave an intro and mentioned that too. And then everyone was like, "Wait, why do you guys have like the same fun fact?" It turns out they both started the radio channel like when they were like young, and now it's like grown to like be something pretty big. I can like find the channel and get back to you if you're interested in knowing, but basically it's crazy how they both like were family friends. They grew up, I think they went to the same elementary or middle school, and now they're both they're both engineering fellows, and they're both like hosts of that radio channel. And then this is one of my friends. He's actually a product fellow. He did a double major at Harvard. His undergrad majors were philosophy and CS. Health tech startup acquired in undergrad. He did LinkedIn APM, and then he actually left, kind of like how I left Salesforce APM for like a more startup feel. And we're both the KP product fellows, and really awesome guy. Just like super honored to be in presence of people that are like, awesome, that have like really, really awesome hobbies like this. And then this one girl actually had her intro where she said she biked across the US, and she regularly does 100 milers. And everyone's like, whoa, that's crazy. And anyone can just say that, right? So we were just like, okay, like, we don't know about what regularly means. Like, it might not be too often. Like 100 miles are not easy, right? And then after the intros, the program head was like, let's make all of these like, different group chats for different interests. I think there was like a music group chat. There was also like a group chat on running too. I was part of that, right? So in this running group chat, everyone was posting like 5 miles, 7 miles. I posted my first run, like 1 mile. And then this girl posts like a 170 mile, like uphill only, like a solid incline bike ride. And we all knew who she was. Like she was not lying when she said she regularly does 100 milers.